Roy Rogers, a true American movie icon, had a life full of both success and problems. He was born Leonard Sly, the son of Andrew and Maddie Sly, and went on to become one of the biggest stars in Western movie history. Hey guys, and welcome to our channel. In this video, we will talk about the heartbreaking story of Roy Rogers. So let's get started. From the mid-1930s to the mid-1950s, Hollywood made a lot of singing cowboy movies, and Roy Rogers was one of the most famous actors of the time. He got the title King of the Cowboys from Gene Autry, and he kept it for a long time in Hollywood terms. During his career, Roy Rogers was in 91 movies, had a successful TV show, and made a lot of 78 RPM LP recordings. In 1991, at age 79, he even topped the country sales charts with a new album that had duets with top contemporary country singers. Roy Rogers was born Leonard Franklin Sly in 1911 in Cincinnati, Ohio. He went on to become the legendary Roy Rogers, a beloved movie icon. But it was not just his good looks and Hollywood promotion that made him popular. He started his film career with his own musical, Pursuits, and was the founder of the Sons of the Pioneers, one of the most popular Western musicals of all time. During the Great Depression, he was born into a family that was torn between farm life and city life. When he was 1 year old, the Sly family traveled up the Ohio River on a homemade houseboat, eventually settling on a farm in Duck Run, Ohio. Andrew Sly, Roy's father, worked in a shoe factory in Portsmouth, often going 2 weeks without coming home to his family in the hills. Before his voice changed, Leonard was involved in the musical life of his community. He played the guitar and mandolin, sang in the church choir, and even wrote a song called Square Dance. On the farm, he learned how to handle horses, but he didn't start riding until he moved to Hollywood. He spent most of his time working on the farm and going to school, where he was good at sports, good at the clarinet, and okay at school. Even though there was not a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, Leonard and his family went on the trip anyway. For months, Leonard drove a gravel truck, and the rest of the family went from place to place picking fruit. Years later, when Leonard was a successful movie star, he read John Steinbeck's The Grapes of Wrath, and he was struck by the similarities between his own family's experiences and those described in the book. He said, "There are parts in that book that make me wonder. They thought that music was their best chance at making a good living. However, their music career didn't last long, and Leonard soon entered a talent contest on a small radio station in Inglewood, California. He didn't win, but he caught the attention of the promoter of a Western music group called the Rocky Mountaineers, who offered him a spot in the group. Even though the group was not very successful, it was a hub for creative talent, and it attracted songwriters. They would talk about food on the air during their radio shows in the hopes that a kind-hearted listener would offer them a meal. During an otherwise unprofitable radio show in Roswell, New Mexico, Leonard performed the Swiss yodel in exchange for a lemon pie from a girl named Arlene Wilkins. It was love at first sight for the singer, and he married Wilkins in 1936. Due to a mistake by a radio announcer, the group's name was later changed to Sons of the Pioneers. Douglas Green, the historian and leader of the present-day Sons of the Pioneers imitators, Riders in the Sky, called Rogers the group's spark plug. Sons of the Pioneers was Leonard's greatest musical achievement. With the addition of 2 swing-playing Texas brothers, Hugh and Carl Farr, the group was complete. Gene Autry was without a studio after a contract dispute with Republic Pictures. Rogers heard that Republic Pictures was looking for a replacement, so he snuck into the audition and became the new singing cowboy for the studio. Rogers' first leading role was in the movie Under the Western Stars. The studio changed his name from Leonard Sly to Roy Rogers after the late comedian Will Rogers. he legally took the new name in 1942. Roy was good at his job and often sought out by people in need. Collier's magazine said that not a week went by without a mother calling Roy to come see a desperately sick or dying child. He always made room for handicapped children at his personal appearances and did his best to respond to requests. In the mid-1940s, Roy Rogers was at the top of his career and was very popular with young people. He had more than 2,000 fan clubs all over the United States. Rogers bought Trigger from a rental stable near Los Angeles and taught him to do more than 50 tricks, including simple math and signing his name with a pencil. Trigger was known as the world's smartest horse and was a regular part of Rogers' stage shows and personal appearances, such as his annual visit to the World Giant Championship Rodeo at Madison Square Garden in New York. Rogers said that this approach helped him build a personal connection with his fans, which saw him as a real person. The New York Times reported in 1945 that the amount of fan mail Rogers received had broken all previous records. He made money off of his good name and image by endorsing a number of commercial products, and in recent years, lending his name to a fast food chain in which he was a part owner. Rogers made 87 movies for Republic Pictures. Most of these movies were about him saving a ranch family or small town, with a happy ending as he and Trigger rode off into the sunset. At certain points in the movies, songs were played, with Rogers playing the guitar and strings humming in the background. Many of the songs were directed at Trigger or his sidekick, Gabby Hayes. Most of the songs were written by composers who worked for the film studio. Rogers said that the music sometimes inspired the movie. He said, "In country music, we would take a song like Don't Fence Me In and build a story around it. That way, both the song and the people who recorded it would get a lot of good publicity." Roy Rogers' career was at its peak in the 1940s, when young people loved him a lot, and he had a lot of female fans, breaking away from the typical male-dominated Western film audience. Rogers' movies were considered B-Westerns and were made quickly to meet the demand of a formulaic audience. He made 87 films for Republic Pictures between 1938 and 1951, often playing a character named Roy Rogers. Still, Newsweek said in 1943 that Rogers' 78 RPM singles were selling 6,000 copies per week. On Decca Records, he recorded both Western-style music and Texas-style vocal swing, giving a beautiful performance of Bob Wills' Time Changes Everything. However, his recordings often had Hollywood strings instead of Texas fiddles. Roy's life was not without tragedy, as he and his wife, Dale Evans, lost their only biological child to Mongolism and 2 adopted children to freak accidents. The album had duets with Kathy Mattea, Randy Travis, Kay Toslin, Alan Jackson, and Tanya Tucker. Rogers even yodeled on a few of the songs, which impressed many people with his vocal skills. The most successful collaboration was a duet with Clint Black called Hold On Partner, which was released as a single. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to share and press the bell icon for more regular updates.